Stop. Stop banging your head against those stone walls. You may have spent days, weeks, or even years trying to get past that family tree stone wall using traditional genealogy. You tell yourself you need to look harder, look wider. You try more online resources. You visit more libraries. You may even have the exact record you need, but you can't prove that it's your family. Or you might even have the wrong record and take your family off in the wrong direction. You need to go around those family tree stone walls using DNA. Hey, to get around a family tree stone wall, you could try Ancestry's through lines, and you might get lucky. Caution: while the results from Ancestry's true lines are based on your DNA matches, it relies too heavily on the family trees that were created by your matches. Dear Ancestry, if you are listening to me right now, I need a mechanism to mark a through line connection as completely garbage. Get off your ass. This is some BS. There's a through lines connection referencing my second great grandfather, August Krauss, which points him towards a set of Prussian parents. If my DNA cousins had done just a little bit more research, they would have found that Johann Wilhelm August Krauss in the record died young and couldn't have been our August. In the meantime, I've reached out to my cousins and asked them to delete the offending records. This in turn should clean up through lines, eventually. For each suggestion in through lines, you need to validate what your DNA matches have done and what records back up their connection. Otherwise, you're just going to make a mess out of your family tree and potentially lead others astray. Now, MyHeritage has a similar product on the market that they call Theory of Family Relativity. I won't even go into this. As of February 2024, the product is complete nonsense. I live by the motto, don't trust, validate. Going around a stone wall using DNA is a valuable strategy when traditional research reaches a dead end. Every DNA match has a potential to either validate your family tree or help you go around a stone wall. Start by taking all your DNA matches and grouping them into families. Some family history sites like Ancestry and MyHeritage allow you to color code and tag your DNA matches. If you haven't done this yet, stop watching and go do it. I'll wait. Ancestry provides 24 colors, and MyHeritage provides 30 colors and tags. Okay, Ancestry and MyHeritage, if you're listening to this right now, I need more colors. I have a lot of branches to tag. All you other websites out there, get off your ass and make color tagging available. Okay, we're back from commercial. Where was I? Oh yeah, colors and tags. As I figure out how my DNA match fits into my family history mystery, I'll tag it with a color and a surname. If I get a bunch of matches that all share DNA with each other, but I can't figure out what surname they go with, I'll tag them with a mystery group. When I get my next DNA match, I just use shared matches and look at the color tags, and I can immediately figure out where they belong. All those mystery groups that I've been collecting, I'll be able to use those to solve non-parental events or uncover other hidden secrets. Now that you have all your DNA matches color-coded, let's crunch some numbers. One of my family tree stone walls was my third great-grandparents, William Aiken and Mary McCowett. They had one son that I know of, my second great-grandfather, William Aiken Jr. With no siblings, it was going to be very unlikely that I was going to find any fourth cousins that I would need to validate my family tree. So this is Buck's Head Close, and if we walk this way, what we can see right here is Buck's Head Tavern. Now, if we go back in time to 1851 at least, we can find on the 1851 census for Scotland, we can find Mary McCowett Aiken living with her son, little son, William. Now, William would be my great-great-grandfather, and Mary would be my great-great-great-grandmother. They lived here because she worked here because she didn't have a husband. I don't know why she didn't have a husband. Based on the census, it didn't say. He's just missing. I know they get married. I know they had a son. They only had one son. She worked here. They lived here. And she probably, I think, based on the census records, she did the housekeeping for the tavern. The tavern. We almost didn't find it. If there were siblings, I'd look at my DNA matches in my Aiken group for any fourth cousins. You know, people with about 13 centimorgans of DNA in common. Then I'd look at their family trees to see if I could find any connections back to my second great-grandfather's siblings. The amount of DNA that you share with a match is measured in centimorgans. This is represented with a little c and a big M. The amount that you share can be roughly translated into how you're related to your match. For example, a parent and child will share about 3,400 centimorgans. Third cousins will share about 53 centimorgans. There's a great chart at the International Society of Genetic Genealogists that provides a reference. Take a look at this link, or try this QR code. Got it? Okay. Now imagine that you and your match share 106 centimorgans. If you're both the same generation, that may mean that you're half second cousins. But if you're different generations, it may mean that you're second cousins once removed. That's your parent's second cousin. But what if you share 265 centimorgans? This falls between cousin categories. It may mean that you have a double cousin. So the first portion, 212 centimorgans, represents second cousin. Plus an additional 53 centimorgans represents a third cousin match. It happens. I'm proof. Considering that my William Aiken Jr. didn't have any siblings, I needed to skip directly to going around the stone wall. I'd been unable to find any records that would allow me to go a generation prior to William Aiken Sr. and Mary McCowett. I needed to start looking at my fifth cousins in my Aiken group, or if I'm lucky, I've got fourth cousins once removed, my mother's generation, which would give me more DNA in common. Family trees are the core of genealogy, and they allow you to journey back in time. I like Ancestry because it has the largest number of DNA users and the largest number of family trees. I dislike Ancestry because most of their family trees are crap. That said, the family tree interface at Ancestry is still better than every other DNA testing site. So, I use Ancestry to fix and build everyone else's tree. Ancestry allows me to build as many family trees as I want, and I do. If I find a DNA match with a partial tree, I'll take any good connection from that tree and add it to one of my scratch pad trees, and then I'll build a complete tree for my match. The only way I'm going to figure out how my match is related to me is by extending their tree until it intersects my own. Now, if you're having trouble building your family tree, ask for help. There are plenty of people and resources out there that will help you on your journey for free. Your stone wall solution may start out as a mystery group, especially if you don't recognize any of the surnames. I have a bunch of DNA matches that appear to be part of my Aiken family, but I couldn't connect their trees back to my Aiken surname. With a little bit of research and some family tree building, I was able to connect some of these mystery matches back to the name Mulholland in Wisconsin. I just needed to push back one more generation. If I can, that's going to allow me to go around that stone wall or provide me with an alternate explanation. What if William Aiken and Mary McCowett are not their real names due to a non-parental event? What if that's why I can't find any more records? Maybe my real family name is Mulholland. I was lucky to find that Henry Mulholland's wife, Agnes, was in fact Agnes McCowett, born in Campsie, Scotland. Now this is one of those adrenaline rush moments because my Mary McCowett was born in Campsie, Scotland. A few records later, I was able to find Agnes's parents, John McCowett and Janet Martin. Then I followed them forward until I found John and Janet's daughter, Mary, born in 1806 in Campsie. Stone wall removed by going around it. Check. Now, could I be just as successful on the William Aiken side? Considering he's my third great-grandfather, I needed to look at my Aiken DNA group for fifth cousins or fourth cousins once removed in order to get around that stone wall. Many of these DNA matches, in retrospect, ended up being daughter lines, and the surnames made no sense at first. So unless you're lucky and find really great family trees, you're going to have to fix and build everyone else's. It helps to have a reference point to know that you even have a viable tree to fix. I knew that I needed to find something in Scotland, and more specifically, near the town of Kirkintilloch. If I had to fix a family tree, I was going to lean towards a family line with Scottish ancestry. Little by little, these daughter lines started to resolve to families living in Kirkintilloch. And then they resolved again to Aiken family branches. Now, when these matches all started pointing to a William Aiken and a Marion Semple, a generation older, I knew I was in the right place. Did William Aiken and Marion Semple have a son, William? I never found a paper record to make the connection certain, but the DNA was indisputable that William and Marion were my fourth great-grandparents. Okay, get settled. In today's class, we're going to talk about the transitive law of genetic genealogy. Imagine you have a DNA match to person A. We'll call them Andy. And you have a DNA match to person B. We'll call them Bob. Now, when you look at your shared matches for Andy, you see Bob on the list of people with DNA in common. If A equals B and B equals C, you're C, then A equals C. There's a very high probability that you, Andy, and Bob all share a common ancestor. Now, if Andy and Bob have really good family trees, you should be able to go back in time and find a common great-grandparent, etc. That great-grandparent is probably also your ancestor. Now, most of the time when we make these connections, it's obvious what the relationship is to us. But sometimes we say, wait a minute, I know all my great-grandparents, and that's not one of them. Surprise! You're going to need a bigger tree. Questions? No? Class dismissed. Remember, if you're going to use DNA to go around those family tree stone walls, it takes patience, persistence, and the willingness to learn. It may take time to connect all the dots to find all the missing pieces to your family puzzle.